Good morning, everybody. This week we kick off National Consumer Protection Week, which is a nationwide effort to inform consumers about their legal rights and, frankly, just how to avoid scams. Here in Ohio, my office and several other government and nonprofit agencies have scheduled a number of workshops, resource fairs across Ohio this week and in the weeks to come. Today I'd like to update you on what we've been doing in this office to protect Ohio consumers. I'm going to talk about, at least to us, a truly alarming scam in a moment. It's particularly disturbing to me and everyone who works here in the Attorney General's office. But before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge some of the individuals who work with me to protect Ohio consumers. First is Sandy Linsky, up there, who is the chief of our Consumer Protection Section, who I'm very proud to have on our team. Next to her is Timothy Haining, who has really a nightmare, horrible story that he's going to tell, which did turn out okay, but it's a very, very scary story. Our office was able to clear up the problem he had. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. In addition, we have with us today Kurt Hill and Randy Miller from Prison Financial Advocates, Jacqueline Nielsen from the IRS, John Lamont from the Social Security Administration, and Ray Fuller from the Ohio Consumers Council, and Kip Morris from the Better Business Bureau of Central Ohio. Shortly after taking office, we held our first National Consumer Protection Week press conference 2 years ago. Since then, we have formed in this office the Economic Crimes Unit to identify and help local authorities prosecute criminal misconduct and consumer fraud cases. In fact, had a major plea just last week. We've had over 50 indictments since we set up that unit. Historically, the Attorney General's office had focused on civil prosecution or civil cases and restitution. We still put a very high priority on that, but in addition to that, we've started to go after these scammers from criminal investigation and prosecution. As I said, we've had over 50 indictments in that section, and we're really rolling. We've offered workshops about consumer protection laws to consumers and businesses upon request. We continue to do that across the state. We created an identity theft unit to help Ohio consumers recover from the effects of identity theft. Horrible, horrible problem, and we'll talk more about that in just a moment. We've also conducted 5 community fraud forums across the state of Ohio. On a daily basis, we help consumers with just about any issue that they have. When we notice a business practice that's not right, we work to change that. For example, consumers have complained to us that they have a very difficult time trying to correct errors that they find on their credit reports. Credit report errors cause all sorts of headaches, like being turned down for a loan or paying more for a loan than what would normally be justified. That's why it's important for this information to be as accurate as possible. Our office has been able to clear up many of these mistakes and errors on behalf of consumers. But frankly, when a system is difficult for consumers to navigate on their own, the system needs to be changed. This is a fundamentally flawed system that must be changed. We do our best to help consumers on a case-by-case basis with problems they're having with their credit reports. We are also, today, actively working to achieve changes within the industry, and that work is continuing. We've also played a key role in investigating unacceptable mortgage practices. This is something that all the Attorney Generals of the country joined together to do, to deal with mortgage practices, foreclosure abuses, and fraud by the nation's 5 largest mortgage servicers, which has led to a landmark settlement which provides relief to Ohio homeowners. Lies are the stock in trade of scammers, and deceit is their standard operating procedure. That's why today we're warning Ohio consumers to watch out for con artists who pretend to be from the Attorney General's office. That's right, scammers are claiming they are with the Ohio Attorney General's office or they're saying they're with the Ohio Attorney General's Bureau of Criminal Investigation. From January 1 through February 20th, our help center received about a dozen reports of callers who said they had received calls from the Attorney General's office or from BCI. The scam typically goes something like this. The caller claims to be from our office, demands that the consumer pay hundreds of dollars he or she supposedly owes for a payday loan, and insists that the consumer must use a prepaid money card to satisfy the debt or risk being arrested or taken to jail or taken to court. This is just totally outrageous. This scam has happened in the past from time to time, but we've really noticed a jump in the number of these calls that people are receiving across the state. And we know that while these people have called us, we know there are many, many people out there who are getting these calls who never report that to the Attorney General's office. And some, I'm sure, tragically believe it is the Attorney General's office that's calling, or believe that it's BCI that is calling and threatening them. In Clark County, a consumer got a call that appeared to be from a 330 area code. The caller said he was from BCI and was investigating criminal matters against that consumer. He refused to explain the looming criminal matters, but did say that bad things would happen to the consumer if they didn't pay. In Delaware County, the caller claiming to be from the Attorney General's office told a consumer she'd be arrested. She'd be arrested within 45 minutes if she didn't pay $1,300 she supposedly owed on a payday loan. She was instructed by the caller to pay the debt with a prepaid money card. When she went to Walgreens to buy the card, fortunately, the employer told her that the store would not sell it. Obviously, that clerk thought something was going wrong, and thank heavens the clerk did the right thing. Another consumer was told by a caller from the Law Enforcement Bureau of Criminal Investigation, that was the quote, Law Enforcement Bureau of Criminal Investigation, that she had to pay $536.48 she owed on a payday loan. The law enforcement caller demanded that she purchase a reloadable prepaid money card. That's one of the common things you keep seeing, these prepaid cards, and give the Bureau the number. If she didn't, the caller claimed she would be arrested. The consumer did as she was told, and now, of course, wants her money back. The Attorney General's office is in fact authorized to collect outstanding debts owed to state agencies and institutions, boards and commissions, public universities and hospitals, and local law enforcement entities. We do that, and we are charged by law with doing that. But I can assure you we are not calling people and threatening them. Our collection enforcement outreach is professional and respectful. We work with individuals or businesses to resolve their financial obligations. We don't threaten, we don't harangue, nor do we try to intimidate. If a consumer has a question about a debt owed or possibly owed to the state, he or she should contact our collections enforcement section at 877-607-6400. Everyone should be aware, scammers don't just pretend to be from our office. They impersonate other government agencies as well. The old scam always has been the FBI calling, or the IRS that is called. They might pretend to be from a court and tell consumers they must pay for missing jury duty. They might also claim to be from the FBI and threaten consumers with jail time if they don't send money right away. Scammers use current technology to spoof. Spoof is the term of art. The number that appears on a consumer's caller ID. It may show an Ohio area code, when in fact the call originates from far beyond our state borders and many times outside the country. We all look down to see who's calling us for caller ID. We see that it's a local call, it's a 937 or 513 or 614. We feel somewhat better about it. We know it's someone local. The fact is that that's simply not always true. That's another way that they are scamming us. As I mentioned earlier, we created an identity theft unit under the Consumer Protection section last year that offers really two different programs. The first, traditional assistance program, provides a consumer advocate who works with credit agencies, creditors, collectors, and other organizations on the victim's behalf. Victims must have a police report to participate in this option. The second thing we offer is really a self-help program, which gives victims a step-by-step guide which includes contact information and form letters to dispute credit reports or charges or to take other action. It's designed for those who prefer to work at their own pace and who want to contact reporting agencies and creditors themselves. So far this year, our identity theft unit has received 312 complaints. We can encourage people who have that problem to call.